was rejected by a matchmaker this week. She wouldn't be able to work with me. I'm very, very type A, organized. I like to be the leader. I also told her I was looking for a man who was also a leader because I don't want to always be the leader, believe it or not. I told her I was looking for someone that was at or above the same income level as me, driven, who is ambitious, who is ready for a long-term relationship and ready to get married. She may have actually picked up on the fact that I'm a little high-strung. I'm not like a stressed out or anxious person. I'm just high energy or type A. This is who I am. And she was asking me, do I meditate? No. Do I journal? No. I said I could never really be with a beta type man. I specifically used the word doormat. I said I would chew them up and spit them out. And her response was, well, I married that type of man. She was saying that, men really like a soft woman and I should try some of these vision board, journaling, meditating type of things. She essentially said that I am not ready for her type of services because I have too much work to do. My walls are too high and I'm not ready for a long-term committed relationship at the ripe age of 38, where I have been in therapy for 10 plus years. She also said that I need to soften a little bit. And men like a softer woman. Essentially, I spent $350 to meet with this woman, have her tell me I am not worthy of love as I am, but the fact that I need to change in order to be worthy of love and partnership. We shouldn't be pushing on these narratives that people are not worthy as they are, and essentially telling women that the type of woman they are isn't worthy of love. That is a narrative that should not be given to anyone, or it is dangerous commentary. And the fact that she said this to my face had some audacity.
The part that she's not considering is that matchmaker is also hired by men. So she's listening to what men want, which is why she's giving the feedback that she's giving. But this reaction from a woman is exactly what a lot of men are experiencing in the dating world. There's just so much resistance from women these days to self-reflect and potentially change a little bit. It is okay to change yourself in order to improve yourself. It does not mean that you're not worthy of love currently. You are. Everyone is. It's just a matter of, are you willing to make yourself a better partner to fit into a relationship? It's really that simple.
I mean, for some reason, they're not going to catch the hint that they're insufferable.
This is obviously really messed up, and I am extremely disappointed by the women in this video and how they act, and the person that captioned this video. This is absolutely a double standard that men face when it comes to turning down an attractive woman. Nothing is wrong with a man saying no to you. It is not a him problem. It is a you problem if you react poorly to it. It does not matter how highly you think of yourself, how attractive, how beautiful you truly believe you are. Reacting poorly to it includes grabbing him or calling him names, trying to shame a man. This is what's so frustrating to men because they have been receiving the message that no means no. But then when it comes time for him to have the same respect for his body and to be able to say no, for some reason, that no is based on how attractive the woman is. Everyone has the right to say no to anyone else's touch. The thing about good men that a lot of women do not realize is that they are oftentimes overthinkers, because someone that overthinks is also someone that overloves. It's why you don't want to play games with this kind of man, because if you do, you will lose your chance with him.
I'm not saying this to piss off women, but I have to say it. I genuinely don't think women understand how much men are willing to suffer for them. And I'm not talking about the lazy bum-ass dudes out here, okay? I'm talking about real men. So here's a story about my father. My dad was an immigrant. He grew up poor in America, didn't really know English that well. He wasn't book smart, so he ended up serving in the military. And after the military, somehow he met my mom and they got married, even though he was dead broke. And they ended up staying in his room at my grandparents' house after marriage, which is just insane. No girl would ever accept that in today's day and age. But what ended up happening is my mom's aunt, well, obviously my mom's side of the family, hated this guy, right? He married my mom, he had no money. My mom's aunt had pity and gave him a business loan so that he could start his own convenience store. And basically what my dad told me was, he asked God for one chance, and if he got this chance, he would never let go. And that's pretty much what happened. He's basically been running this convenience store for, I think, like 30 years now. Like, even before I was born, I think. And he literally has sacrificed his entire adult life so that my mom and myself and my sister could have a good life, and so that we could live comfortably, and my sister and I could go to college and, you know, live like white people, like my dad used to say when I was growing up. He wanted us to be able to experience all of these, you know, luxuries.
The first thing that women will do when they find a guy on the internet from a dating app is we will go straight to that LinkedIn. Got to find out where you work, what university you went to, are you recommended by your old bosses? Like, this is the closest thing you're going to get to a dating resume for a man. And then I look at his most recent employer, and it doesn't strike me as odd at first when I see it, because it says director of blah, blah, blah at CEC Entertainment. And I go, oh, we both work in entertainment. How cool. Soulmate. So I Google CEC Entertainment. And there in bold letters is the name of his boss, the big cheese himself, Chuck E. Cheese Entertainment. I cannot date a grown man who works for Charles E. Cheddar.
I have two things to say about this. Number one, I don't think a lot of women realize how disappointing it is for men to hear stories like this. Because in this particular instance, this woman is talking about her dating mindset, which is very much focused on a list of his qualifications. It's all about what he can bring to the table and nothing about him as a person. In today's world, most men feel like the love that they receive is based on what they can provide, right? It's only conditional. Hearing stories like this, hearing a woman's mindset when it comes to dating, it only reinforces that. The second thing I want to say is that this is the type of woman that will remain single for a very, very long time. Because that man, he might make more than 90% of men out there. But she disqualifies him based on her own assumptions, which I think is her problem. That man clearly dodged a bullet.
I just got hit on so aggressively in a Walgreens wearing this outfit, which is just astonishing, because it's just that sometimes I work so hard to look so good and no one bats a freaking eye, and then I leave the house in a stained shirt. I just feel like when I get hit on the most is when I'm the ugliest. It's crazy. Like, hit on me while I'm holding my vaginal probiotic blend. Like, yeah.
Ladies, guys keep on trying to tell you this because you're more approachable and normal. And guys love that relaxed look because it shows that you're confident and you're not too concerned about what other people think of you. But that doesn't mean that men don't like the opposite, like they don't like you to dress up and look good. They still do. It's just that they really like to be able to view this side of you because this is becoming more rare these days. Because we are blasted with fakeness every day, especially on social media. But in that moment where you're at the grocery store looking like this, you are just your authentic self. You're real. And men love that.
Loyalty is only a virtue if it is mutual. If I am being loyal to my husband and he's being loyal to me, perfect, that's a great boundary. But if I'm being loyal to him and he's not being loyal back to me, that loyalty is actually neediness that's disguised as a virtue. That loyalty is actually a lack of self-respect. What people do is that they kind of give themselves like their own medal. They're like, I don't cheat, that's not who I am. Loyalty is only a virtue if it is mutual. They're not reciprocating it. You have to reduce your level rather than waiting for them to up their level. That just won't happen.
Or how about we have our own values and morals that don't get influenced or dictated by somebody else? And then we wonder why the very problematic victimhood mentality is running wild today. It's this. This is why. And if you guys have missed it, this particular creator just recently got outed for apparently, allegedly, being a side chick to some rich guy in Dubai. Honestly, I'm not surprised because if she was talking and speaking about morals and beliefs in this way, she kind of was following along with that opinion in the way that she was living. That's why I say there's always signs right before a crash out.
Yeah, man, how come you just don't leave? Like I said, with the recent things coming in to the forefront, right? We all make mistakes. We all say things in the privacy of our own homes that we don't expect to get out. But I just say people are saying anything nowadays and getting paid for it. I'm in the wrong business.
I'm tired of girls being like, I'll ruin your life. I want a girl that's nice to me and encourages me to be a better person.
An old man literally just stopped me and said, I don't mean to be rude, but you are absolutely gorgeous. And I looked at him and I was like, and I just turned around. He just outwardly said that I'm absolutely gorgeous, which is just like so unnecessary. It's weird.
It's a compliment. It's not that deep. The thing that women get wrong time and time again is that they think that a compliment means more than its face value. Because even though that gentleman literally just said, you're absolutely gorgeous, she took that as him attempting to like get her into bed or something. Meanwhile, that is not how men think of compliments. Because on the very rare occasion that that man is on the receiving end of a compliment, all that does is it puts a smile on his face and he'll remember it forever. But that man is also not even able to convince himself that that woman is hitting on him. That is how he thinks, and that is what he thinks a woman is thinking when he gives her a compliment. When you pull it all together, ladies, when a man gives a compliment, that means that he's really just trying to be nice. Sorry guys, to kind of leave you hanging there for a little bit about the banana bread video. You guys really pulled through. You told me what was up with banana bread, and apparently it's like flowers for men, right? They love when women put in the effort to do something that they've baked or made. And banana bread is like really easy to make. I did 2 this weekend. I did one with walnuts and one just plain. I know chocolate chips is another popular option. We're just not a fan of that option here. But I have to tell you that it is important for you girls to realize, women, to realize that it comes with risks when you make banana bread for your man. Because this is what happened to me. He built this wall in 2 days. Let me show you. The wall with its own outlet here, well, switch, which used to be inside. So there was electrical work involved also to make an office. This will be my new office. He just, out of the blue, woke up this weekend, Labor Day weekend. Let's do this. So be careful, ladies.
What's it called when a woman is not interested in a man, but she still wants him to be interested in her? Because I know that's a thing.
Friend zone. Next question.
A sickness. You have a sickness, clear sickness, and you need to get help for it right now.
Really? You're playing a video game again? Really? You're drinking again?
Really? You're eating another ice cream?
Well, a woman is in custody this.
I know this is meant to be funny, but so many men experience this every single day. They don't feel like they can do anything that they enjoy or their hobbies. If he goes out with his friends too much, that's a problem. Video games, that's a problem. Golfing, that's a problem. Whatever it is that he likes. And I do think you need to keep in mind how often you are asking him these types of questions. You need to be supportive of something. Ideally, most things. Otherwise, why are you with him? Are you guys even compatible if you hate every hobby that he has? You may think that these comments are harmless, but they're really not.
Somebody in the comments said, this isn't going to get you a boyfriend. She said, I don't want a boyfriend. I'm married.
Okay, so he's paying all the bills. That's pretty substantial. Are you asking him out? Are you trying to take him out? Are you helping plan stuff? It just always seems like it's up to the man to keep the relationship going, keep the spark alive. And it's often portrayed that a man paying bills is just never enough, that it doesn't bring a lot of value, and that can be very exhausting depending on how many hours he works, what kind of job he has. But both people should be working on the relationship constantly. You never talk about the effort women should be expected to do. It's always, the man's not doing enough. He needs to do this, this, and this. But what about women? Do they need to do that? They need to do some things?
Dude in the comments said it's not to the end when she has to do everything for herself after she has divorced him and destroyed everything that she wishes he was still there. Not to say sorry or that she was wrong, not even for love, but just for her comfort, convenience, and money.
He's perfect, but you guys go to Starbucks to get your first fall drink of the season, and he gets a black coffee.
And yet there was a woman recently saying that men shouldn't be allowed to drink the caramel coffees. This is why so many men just don't even date. It's not worth it. Because if he gets what he likes, probably secretly judging him for it.
Maybe men don't like posting their partners on their social media because they're worried about their female followers hitting us up, telling us that they're pieces of shit and that we should run.
Or maybe he doesn't need external validation from everybody else, so he doesn't feel the need to post because he likes to have a more private life. Maybe it's literally that simple. And a man knows that if he's with a good woman, some random woman coming into her inbox being like, oh, I don't like your boyfriend or whatever, isn't gonna make her break up with him. But he's not worried about that.
I let it go for about $40. $40?
This is why I think women should pay a little bit more often if possible. Because it's so easy to forget to appreciate our partners when they're doing things for us. Because we just get used to it. We don't consider the sacrifice it takes. I mean, for some men, that might be 2 hours of work just for one meal. Or even more than that. And it's something that can easily be taken for granted. Where are all the good women? Right here.
Who's calling that? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit?
First of all, like Talon, how did you even come up with that idea, let alone doing it all before he gets home? Women like this just show not only they can plan and execute amazingly well, but also do sweet things for you, seriously? And the drinks and the decoration, attention to detail.
Is it Becky? Is it Keisha? Is it Ashley? No way. They even look like the same room. It's not done yet. It's not done yet? You're joking. You did this today? Are you serious?
That's what I call wife material right there.
Man, if I had a badass bitch in my phone, I would be licking the screen and responding within 20 seconds. I work 70 hours a week. I still find time to respond immediately to people as soon as they hit up my phone. You guys, the nonchalant epidemic of 2025 has you guys in such a princess chokehold. Like, what's next? Do you guys want to be pillow princess?
You do realize if you were a man and you did that, you'd be single, right? Because a lot of men who respond immediately are single. They're usually called simps. And it has nothing to do with him being a princess. A lot of men have rightfully realized that the effort they put into relationships is rarely reciprocated. They want to make sure you're going to invest as well. And let's be real here, if men expected immediate responses from their lady, they would be painted as controlling. But it's okay for women to demand whatever they want, right? It's always funny when women make videos like this because they truly don't understand some of the difficulties men have to face when it comes to dating or getting to know a woman or trying to impress her or take her out. It's not that simple. Otherwise, all of these men would just have it down.
Licking the screen is crazy, and it's gross, and it shows desperation. If you did that, these modern women would clown you and then put you all over TikTok.
They say if he wanted to, he would, but I feel like if he wanted to, then he already would have. Yeah.
This often overlooks all of the other things men do constantly, like the smaller things that you never notice, you just automatically take it for granted. And have you ever considered that he can't read your mind and maybe he just didn't think of it? And it's so funny because if men held us to the same standard, we would lose our minds. But we have this entitled mindset just because we're women. He should magically know what we want. We have a zero tolerance policy. Oh, if he wanted to, he would. Have you ever considered that maybe there's other things going on in his life? Maybe he can't afford it right now. Maybe he's not ready yet. There's so many valid reasons. And even us ladies, we have things we want to do in life, but we haven't done it yet. I just don't get why this is so hard to understand. There are so many men out there trying their best to do the right thing every single day. And have you ever considered that maybe these men don't want to do these things for you? Because if you're not reciprocating and not treating him good, why would he? So do consider that as well.
I mean, these modern women, man, they think that men are at their beck and call. Just when I snap my finger, you need to be right in front of my face.
I don't know what lady needs to hear this, but a man pouring maximum amount of energy into you in the early stages doesn't necessarily mean he really wants you. A lot of women will write off that man that's consistent, that has high integrity, and he's overall aligned with her and compatible with her. All because he's not showing that flashy effort. And that doesn't mean he's going to be doing the most. Effort is easy to fake in the short term, whereas character is not easy to fake long term. And you're supposed to find someone you're genuinely compatible with. Relationships aren't supposed to be these auditions. And a lot of healthy men purposely pace themselves because they want to get to know you. Women talk about wanting equality, but then they act like they're the prize in the relationship. That puts you above him. Relationships are supposed to be reciprocal, where both people are putting in effort. A lot of good men will catch on quickly if it's only one-sided. This is one of the many ways women keep other women single. Because if you base it purely off of this type of thing, you're going to be ruling out a lot of great guys. Some women will tell you that they're anxious or depressed, or that they've been through so much to get your guard down. These toxic women are setting you up so they can get away with certain behavior that they deep down know is wrong. And I've seen this happen to so many men. And then they flip the script on you. You try to set a boundary, a very reasonable one, and all of a sudden you're abandoning them. Or you call them out and you're insensitive, you don't understand. And she'll guilt trip you every chance she gets. And usually this stuff happens slowly, so it's not all at once where you can see it. She'll be vulnerable. And you'll think, okay, this woman's very emotionally available. She's opening up to me. Things are healthy and great. But in some cases, she's actually using it to manipulate you, not to actually build a relationship. And you spend years with her trying to help fix her life because it's a mess. She somehow painted herself as the victim in every single situation. And at first you might be like, how could anybody treat this woman like this? She's so kind and sweet. But she's actually the one that caused these issues. And then gradually you end up isolated, because she slowly starts cutting off your entire support system. And then she drains you with every resource that you have. And she actually plays victim the same way she did with you, but to everyone else about you. If you see signs of this early on, do what you can to get yourself out. It's not going to get better.
A dude in the comments said, 12-year marriage. For 12 years, I've been dealing with this. That is crazy.
If a man says he hates Taylor Swift, that's likely how he feels about women in general. A TikToker named Phoebe believes that the way a man speaks and feels about Taylor Swift is indicative of how they view and treat women. She then says that men who hate Swift reek of misogyny and are a huge red flag.
Why? Because they might not like a specific singer? Are men, ever allowed to like or dislike anything without being called a million different negative things? A lot of people don't like Taylor Swift. Everyone was getting excited over her concert or whatever. I thought it was a joke. I thought people paying thousands of dollars, it was just all satire. We were all pretending to be excited, but we weren't. Some of us don't like the same genre of music. That could be the case for him.
I'm impressed. Hey, no way.
I can't stand up and shake your hand.
Oh, it's good. What's your name?
Amelie.
Amelie. Nice to meet you. I'm Andrew.
I like your nose piercing.
Appreciate you. I like your little outfit, though.
Oh, thank you. I love dressing like a little old lady. I feel like it's so powerful and nobody cackles me.
What do you like to do?
I paint, I rehab animals, I pop wheelies.
Pop wheelies on the chair?
Yeah, I can do a wheelie.
I'm impressed. Hey, no way. That's crazy how you can maneuver on that anyway. I thought you were just going to stay in place.
Are you an active person?
Very. I go on a lot of hikes. I run all the time.
Oh yeah, me too. All of the running and hiking, I do that too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got the special attachments, but it's fucking... Alright.
You deserve to have somebody that you can be active with. You shouldn't settle for less than what you want or what you deserve.
So she does this with a few other men. There was a man that liked to ski. And I understand where she's coming from because she can't participate in those activities. But I also think she's doing a disservice to herself because she seems like a really sweet girl. And for a lot of people, they may have friends that like to do these activities as well. So the person she's with can just go off with their friends and do these things. Doesn't necessarily mean that she has to prevent them from doing them. And a lot of these guys seemed very kind and understanding themselves. You're not going to have everything in common with the person you're with. And I wish the people that had disabilities would give themselves a little bit more credit, because I feel like they discount what they have to offer in their relationship, and they feel like they are less than because of the struggles that they have. And that is so far from the truth. In this case, this man likes to run. I know a lot of runners that actually prefer to run alone. Same with hiking. And there is so much more to a relationship than just your mutual hobby, conversation, dates, and all the little day-to-day things. She doesn't need to be ruling herself out over something like this.
What? Isn't this how the girls walk around the gym?
It's funny, I actually think there's a good chunk of guys who are getting tired of this as well. I mean, he goes to the gym to work out and he might be filmed and then accused of checking these women out when he just happened to glance over in her general direction. Or these women that are wearing almost nothing at the gym. I'm not talking like genuine workout clothes here, but some people are taking it way too far. And I know of a lot of men who genuinely do not want to look at other women like that because they're happily taken. So it might create some awkwardness at the gym for him when he can't even walk over to like a workout machine without having to glance at a woman wearing very little.
Someone tell me why men are expected to show up to relationships being emotionally available, but women are not expected to show up to relationships being rationally available. The messed up part about all this is when a man isn't able to show up emotionally available, he's dismissed or considered weak, or he needs to go to therapy. But if a woman comes into a relationship being irrational, it's blamed on her hormones, and she's immediately validated, and the man is invalidated. The interesting part about this is you could almost look on any social media website and look up, am I the asshole for using my hormones and my irrational behavior against my boyfriend? And men have been conditioned into believing that this is acceptable behavior. But it makes me wonder, if a woman is able to come into a situation, for example, she thinks her man's cheating, instead of going on a rampage and making fake social media accounts to catch him, or yanking his phone, or going through the phone when he's sleeping, if she's able to come into a situation being more rational, would it open up a man to being more emotionally available because he feels safer? It's just another example of how men have to show up differently than women, and men have to bring everything, and women have to bring little to nothing to a relationship. Okay, bye.
Rationally available is a good one. I like that one.
It is appalling to think about how a woman spends a man's $300 to $400 in child support every month on things like clothes for her kids, shoes for her kids, a winter coat, a haircut, birthday parties, camp, activities, the dentist and the doctor and medicine, rent, utilities, gasoline for the car, and then she takes the huge surplus that's left over and she goes to the mall and she gets herself a bunch of outfits, she gets her hair done, her makeup done, her nails done, and it's all on the man's dime.
I love how so many women love to make videos like this and try to make these men look terrible for wondering where their child support money goes to, but what they really do is out themselves for the types of men that they marry and that they put themselves around. Because why is it that you're so worried about child support? Why is it that you're not financially stable enough to be able to fund these children's lives with or without child support? In my opinion, the children should automatically go to whichever parent is more financially stable. But not only that, is y'all don't even think about the people that have 50-50. So 1 week they're at mom's, 1 week they're at dad's. Both houses are paying for food, groceries, medicine, and all of the things that you listed. But then you also listed rent and utilities. With or without children, you'd be paying rent and utilities. So it's not his responsibility to fund your lifestyle. But what really stands out to me is y'all always want to come at the men, but you never want to acknowledge that there's actually women out here that refuse to get a job, that want the ex-husband or the ex or the baby daddy to pay their way. They make a minimum wage job, if that, while their parents fund their lifestyle, while getting on the internet and bitching about how their baby daddy is a deadbeat, even though she's getting $500, $800 a month from him, which actually covers her rent because she's renting from her parents. and doesn't have an actual mortgage, or she doesn't have a car and she doesn't have all of these things, or she's even posting content online and then hiding those funds when it comes to mediation. But y'all never want to talk about those types of women. You want to just drag the men, and then when these men ask for proof as to where the child support is going, y'all don't want to, because y'all know damn well that it's not going to the kids all of the time. Okay, bye.
A dude in the comments said, I see a lot of dads commenting about what they pay. We pay child support, medical through the jobs, and also share or completely pay for extra activities. In fact, I had 2 children with my ex and eventually got full custody of one of them. She's still going around and making it sound like I'm not doing anything. Yeah, because if these modern women don't have the attention on them, if they don't have anything to complain about, if they don't have any drama in their lives, then that's what they have to do, is make drama. It's a way that they cope with their boring, terrible, miserable lives.
Everyone seems to be interested in why I'm getting divorced, so for Pickup Line Tea Time today, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, clearly there is a lot of backstory, and this is just going to be like the very long story short, like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So Aaron and I have always kind of struggled financially, and we have always barely made it. Let's just put it at that. We've always got it done, but barely. And so then we moved into our most recent house, and he had left a job to try to do a different job. That job wasn't paying him well, and so he ended up falling behind, and we were behind, and he went back to his old job and couldn't catch up, and the mortgage company only wanted the payment in full, and they were not working with or not letting him do a payment plan, so on and so forth. So we eventually foreclosed on the house. And so the weekend that we were moving out of the house that we foreclosed on, he was telling me that he wants to get me pregnant, and I said, absolutely not. This is not the time. We're about to move into my parents' house, and I do not want to be pregnant right now. I don't want to have a baby. Well, lo and behold, that weekend, he got me pregnant. And I just will never believe that it was an accident. He said it was an accident, but I specifically said, no, I do not want to be pregnant, so don't you think you would be more careful or whatever? He knew I was not on birth control. We were both aware of what we were doing, clearly, but I just think that we've never had an accident aside from Ella, which, again, we knew what we were doing, but didn't really want to be pregnant at the time. But in the past 7 years since that happened, we have never gotten pregnant unintentionally. And so I just think it's a weird coincidence that it happened right when we were foreclosing on our house, which makes me feel like it was not an accident and he wanted a reason for me to stick around. Well, joke's on him. I did not stick around because it made me very upset and no longer able to trust him, because I think he did it on purpose. So that's the very long story short. I'm going to get hate for that in the comments because people are like, it takes...
So let me get this straight. The moment that your husband that supported you for 7 years, because you said you were a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, well, he has been providing for you financially. He struggles one fucking time where he's actually down bad and you decide to divorce his ass. And he uses a baby as a way to connect with you. A way to reconnect with you when he is struggling. And you take that as a means for him being dishonest, not being trustworthy, and now you need a divorce. Are you freaking kidding me? If anything, girl, he shouldn't trust you, because why would you trust a bitch that doesn't want to get a job, that doesn't want to help out financially, but has the most to say with absolutely no solution? And then y'all wonder why men don't ever share their feelings. Now, do I agree that you shouldn't bring a baby into this world? And like you said at the end of your video, oh, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because it takes 2 to tango. Absolutely. Because what do you mean it was only up to him to protect himself? Because what do you mean it's all on him to make sure that he doesn't get you pregnant? Last time I checked, it actually does take 2 to tango. Let this be a lesson to all the men out there, that this is a perfect example of a woman who is going to dump you when you actually financially struggle. The moment that you fall on hardship, she will dump your ass and make some bullshit excuse as to why she needs to dump your ass. Not once in her video does she talk about how she hustled when he was down bad, or how, she got up and did DoorDash or did side hustles or did any of that. Not once in times where, they were on hard times. She said they always struggled financially. So instead of helping her husband, she's now divorcing his ass because supposedly he got her pregnant on purpose. You will never be able to confirm whether or not that man did it on purpose, but now you are going to be a single mother of 4 children. Like, let that sink in. With no money, you've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, and you think a man is going to take you on with 4 kids? All because you also made a choice to lay down and try to make a baby? Delusional women of today freaking crack me up, because tell me why or how you think you're going to make it with 4 kids. How you're going to get somebody to date you with 4 kids. And if you're pregnant right now, doesn't that make 5? Or am I getting my math messed up? Y'all will find any excuse to dump a providing man and then somehow twist it and blame it all on him. Because it's not all his responsibility. It never was. He provided for you for 7 years, and you repay him by divorcing his ass for wanting to connect with you. Y'all look for so much negative shit in your relationships that this is why you end up divorced. Oh, you're nitpicking at everything he's doing, and now you're unhappy, rather than understanding that your husband's been going through it for the last 7 years to keep y'all afloat. And maybe, baby isn't the best idea, but the sex connected to making that baby was where the connection was. And you still wanted to dump his ass. Let this be a reminder that you can be a providing man and give everything to a woman, and when she is ready to leave, she will make up any excuse to get the hell out of there. Okay, bye.
Somebody in the comments said he spent all of his time trying to feed her. That is a violation. And another dude here in the comments said, the sad thing is not that she divorced him because he lucked up on that, but because he will never recover from the child support that I have no doubt will be her only means of support. She's going to take him for everything he makes for at least the next 18 years. And that's what happens. A man can never really get from underneath the thumb of lazy modern women. They want a man that's ambitious. They want a man that is able to go out there and really conquer the day, all the while they sit at home and basically do nothing.
So can someone explain it to me why so many women that think men are trash will never block their ex? If that man is such trash and he beat your ass and he was abusive and he's narcissistic and he's a liar, then why don't you block him? Why do women always talk about, oh, he viewed my Instagram story. Oh, like he's still lurking my social media. Like, you guys will get off on the idea that this man is still watching you while simultaneously claiming that he's so dangerous and abusive. And let's just call it what it is. You like the attention that you get from being a victim, but you still want that man to come back to boost your own ego. And some of y'all will even go as far as like stalking the new girlfriend on social media, making fake accounts, showing up at bars that you know he's going to be at. You didn't want to be with that man, but you don't want that man to be with anybody else, but you don't see that as toxic. Like, he's such a piece of shit, but you can't let him go. Like, someone make it make sense. And then if we talk about the good men that get dumped, y'all will pretend like he's narcissistic just so you don't have to take accountability. You will label him narcissistic so you can label your way out of accountability. It's so funny because women will always tell them this dumb shit. Like, they'll say, oh, well, he didn't leave me for better. He left me for easier. As if the new girl is like some slutty, trashy girl that he just picked off the street. When sometimes a good man actually levels up. They didn't find someone that's easier. They found someone that's respectful, that's kind. If he has kids, maybe she helps and steps up and takes care of your kids. She doesn't belittle him every day. She supports him in every single way. She doesn't come in pissed off, angry, and uninspired. Let's be honest. Like, some of these women out here have lost really good fucking men. They have lost the good men that they had because they were selfish, rude, and thought that there was better out there. And the only way that they can live with themselves is by convincing themselves that these men are narcissistic and abusive, because that is the only way they can cope with the fact that they lost a good man. Okay, bye. How is it always your husband's fault when you start 90% of all arguments? How is it always a man's fault when every single argument in most relationships is started by women? Can someone explain that to me? It is not your husband or your boyfriend's problem if you don't know how to deal with conflict when you start conflict. And once you understand that the majority of women start arguments and then flip it to make it a man's fault, it helps you understand how delusional a lot of these women are. But no, seriously, your husband or your boyfriend is not your dad. When you give the silent treatment and expect to still get your way, he doesn't have to put up with that. When you make up all these false bullshit and start fake crying in front of him expecting sympathy, he's not your dad. He doesn't have to give you any kind of empathy or sympathy in problems that you created. Your husband or boyfriend doesn't have to tolerate disrespect. He doesn't have to have all of these rules put upon him that he can't have a guy's night, he can't have hobbies, you have to go through his phone all the time. But then when he tells you no on a girl's night or that you can't have any money, now it's a problem. You don't get to lie. You don't get to be disrespectful. You don't get to have a guy best friend and then have your hand out expecting him to pay your way or put gas in your car or still be respectful if you're not reciprocating that same level of respect. Like, why is it always his fault if you're the one always starting arguments? Why is it always his fault if he has to go through your phone? Why is it always his fault if you're not being honest and upfront with him and you're being sneaky? He's not your dad. He doesn't have to fall for this bullshit. He doesn't have to fall for the crocodile tears. And the tantrums might have worked with your dad, but they're not going to work with your husband or boyfriend. Some of you have so much delusion because you swear that it's everybody else's fault, even though you're the one starting the problems 99.9% of the time. How is that man supposed to still want to do shit for you if you find every little thing to bitch about? How is he supposed to still show up in a relationship when nothing he ever does makes you happy? When you're treating him like shit and he's giving you back the same energy, that doesn't make him a narcissist. That doesn't make him abusive. That doesn't make him someone that needs therapy. That is a man standing on business and respecting his freaking boundaries because he's a human being that still deserves the same level of respect. How is he supposed to be the best version of himself for you when you expect this princess treatment and you use it as an excuse to treat him like shit? Newsflash. The princess treatment is bullshit. Y'all made that shit up so you didn't have to have any accountability and you could cry to your husbands like you do your dads and expect the same forgiveness. Your husband or boyfriend does not have to accept your past trauma. He is not the one there to fix you and mold you and help you and cater to you like your dad did. It's a freaking partnership, and some of y'all are acting like 12-year-old little brats expecting to get your way all of the time, even though everything in your relationship is started because you're having a tantrum or you're on your period or you're upset about not eating or you're just a girl and you want to just gaslight that man into being treated like shit because you don't actually know how to be a good partner in a relationship. Okay, bye.
A dude in the comments said, and they never say sorry. They just say, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yeah, I concur.